She's home. Please welcome to the stage our very own Jennifer Jones, Rotary International Director and Vice President-elect from the Rotary Club of Windsor-Roseland.
Good morning. District Conference is, in my opinion, the time when we come together to recharge our batteries, to not only celebrate the things that have happened over the course of the past year, but to look forward to the future and to the things that we can do. And it's these friendships, these enduring friendships that we make with each other at events like this that allow us to do the extraordinary great work that we do in the world. And I would be remiss if I didn't take an opportunity to thank my husband, Nick. And he has been not only my greatest supporter and cheerleader, but I've dragged him all over the world, and he's still smiling. And so I just want to tell him from this place in front of our dear friends, my sincere thanks to him. Now, we may have been on the road a little too long because I don't know if any of you all paid attention to this, but he was actually reading the words to the Star-Spangled Banner and "O Canada." That might not be a good sign. Anyhow, storytelling is what we're focusing on this weekend. And you are in for some incredible treats, some incredible speakers that I've already had the chance to hear and know that they are going to touch your hearts. They're going to help you see a brighter future. They're going to help you tell your own stories in even more compelling ways. And, you know, obviously through the course of visiting so many different districts and countries, certainly over the past couple of years, our breadth and wealth of stories, both for Nick and I, has grown immensely. And as I was reflecting upon sharing with you this morning, I thought I would pick a very short and very quick story, but one that just happened about 3 weeks ago. And it was one that touched me quite deeply, and I wanted to share it with you this morning. We had the incredible opportunity to serve as the president's representative in Jordan, just as I said, 3 weeks ago. And we landed in Amman. The people, again, were incredible. The food was incredible. Everything was wonderful. They had their conference out at the Dead Sea. And on the evening that they opened it, there was this open-air amphitheater. And we were sitting out looking over the sea as this started. And that night, I was introduced to a doctor named Mark Turpentine from Indianapolis. And he was brought over because he was being introduced to me because he's part of something called Gift of Life. Now, I don't know if many of you have heard of Gift of Life, but Gift of Life is where they do, it's volunteer doctors who do open heart surgeries on children who would not have the ability to have this done in any other capacity. So sort of like rotoplast, which we've talked a lot about in our area, but just think of it on the heart. And so he came over, and I was introduced to him, and we chatted for a few minutes, and he was a lovely gentleman. And then the founder of this organization walked up, and he was introduced, and his name is Rob. And I said, Rob, I said, it's really fascinating. I said, I was in another district conference last week in New York. And I said, and I got to meet a gentleman who is part of Gift of Life who gave a great talk. He was a really great ambassador for you. And he said, well, were you in District 7190? And was it Tom? And I said, well, yes, it was. So, you know, the small worldness starts to come together. On the last day of our trip, we were asked what we wanted to do, and there were certain things that they wanted us to see of the city of Amman before we left. But one of the things that they decided at the last moment, and is probably going to be one of my most precious life memories, was let's go to the hospital and visit Mark. Today is the first day that they are starting their surgeries. And so we showed up at the hospital, and I was scrubbed in and put into greens. And so anyway, went into the OR, just like, we can do here in the United States and Canada. And I'm standing, looking over the patient. And Mark is standing right here performing surgery. And the nurse is on this side, and the anesthetist or anesthesiologist, depending on what country you're from, is standing over here. Anyway, he's working away with great precision. And the stitching that he was doing, this little patch that he was putting on this little baby's heart, it was just incredible to watch. And so he finally looked up and he said, "Jen, how long you been standing here?" And I said, "Just a couple of minutes, and I'm not going to talk to the guy. He's doing open heart surgery." And so he said, "Let me introduce you. This is 5-month-old Selma." And so we continued to chat a little bit, and every once in a while he would say to the anesthetist, "Warm it up just a bit more." And then he'd do some more stitching. "All right, warm it up just a little bit more." Then he'd kind of move things around. And then he said, "Warm it up more." And then finally he said, "Warm it up." And all of a sudden, little 5-month-old Selma's heart started to beat again. I didn't even realize it wasn't beating until that very moment that I got to watch her come back to life. That is the magic of Rotary. That is the gift that we get by being part of this great organization. And the even bigger gift of this, little Selma is a 5-month-old Syrian refugee. And I went out into the hallway, and her mom and dad were standing there, and I got to tell them, "Selma's good. I just saw her heart beat." That is the magic of Rotary. And that is the privilege that each and every one of us has to participate because of this organization that connects each and every one of us every single day. So thank you for letting me share the story of Selma. And I know she's going to be good. She was in the best hands and the best care. And I'll think of that story probably for the rest of my life. The last thing I want to do before leaving the stage is lift you back up again. And if I could ask Ashok to come up and Wayne, I'd just like to do something fun. One of the things that I have been on a rampage about is talking with people about the fact that we need to make Rotary hip, cool, and relevant. And I am doing my darndest to do that. And one of the things that means is, come on over here. Can we get the house lights up? Is it possible without difficulty? How many officers does it take to take a selfie?